Sills, good afternoon. Finally some sports tonight, right? Finally some sports that matter. Finally some sports that is relevant. NBA Finals Game 1 tonight. You know, I was just telling Tone, I was listening to Jay Williams on ESPN, and he made this, sportscasters today get such in the moment, and they forget the context of history of what they're saying sometimes. I'm guilty of this too. I've never seen, this is Jay Williams, I've never seen one player take a team, put it on its back, and carry it to the NBA Finals. I had to text Jay Williams and go, well, you must have missed the 0-1 series with Allen Iverson where he averaged 35.6 points a game and carried that Sixer team all the way to the NBA Finals. And that Shaq and Kobe team was pretty damn impressive. And that little guy carried that team all the way. And I'm like, hey, dude, are you trying to tell me you think that Jimmy Butler is a more dynamic player in carrying a team than Allen Iverson was? I don't know. Look, there's some similarities in the dudes. I get it. And I love Jimmy Butler. But don't be a prisoner of the moment. That guy was great. He was he had Jordan's mentality. Can I tell you what he needed? This is going to be so sacrilegious. By the way, you guys know Larry Brown's been on this program. Tone, you probably don't agree. But can I tell you what Allen Iverson needed in his NBA career? He needed Phil Jackson. He didn't need Larry Brown. He needed Phil Jackson. Okay? If anybody can harness Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, why wouldn't you get the best jockey on the planet? Larry Brown was probably counterproductive to both men, the coach and the player. Remember, Larry Brown was a great basketball player himself. And when you have that dynamic like that, sometimes you can't see through the weeds here a little bit. Okay? Hey, and Steve goes, we're talking about practice. If Allen Iverson didn't want to practice the way he didn't see how they should practice, I'm not going to do it. But you know what Phil would have did? Phil would have said, okay, let's play defense. That's what he would have done. But he would have motivated him into doing it. He would have convinced him. If you could convince Michael Jordan not to win scoring championships and win NBA championships, don't you think he could have convinced Allen Iverson, hey, dude, we got to win some titles here. And we're going to get role players. And we're going to surround you with the greatest role players on the planet. And then we're going to go win a couple titles. That, to me, is how you win championships. And that's why certain coaches are the great coaches. Phil Jackson couldn't build, he couldn't build a Lego house. I mean, he seriously, he's not a builder. He's a manager. Look at the Eagles that he managed. And I think this goes with all sports. I think there's coaches that can coach Michael Irvin, and then there's coaches that can coach Troy Aikman, all on the same team. Those are really the great ones. Those are the ones, like I was talking about Mike Tomlin yesterday. Okay? Mike Tomlin coaching Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. By the way, bottom of the hour, Hall of Famer in both college and pro and in the CFL. How about that trifecta? Warren Moon. We'll talk some Seahawks and some NFL and get his take on where Jalen Hurts is right now in his career. We will talk to the legendary Warren Moon at the bottom of the hour and get his thoughts. Hey, I've been watching all the video and I've been staying on top of what's going on at the OTAs with the Eagles. Can I make another proclamation for you here? I think the next Brandon Graham on your football team is going to be Nolan Smith. There's just a lot of characteristics about that guy that reminds me of Brandon Graham. There's your heir apparent to your guy that's going to be the people that look to, that embodies with the organization. I think he's going to embody the Eagle way. He's going to take the baton from Brandon Graham. You think I'm in there? You think I'm in there with that? I think he's got Brandon Graham qualities about him. Hardworking, loves the community, loves Philadelphia. Dude, Brandon Graham could have probably went to Cleveland, got a couple extra $1 million this past offseason. Nah, that's all right. I want to stay here and close it up and play my entire career in one spot. Pretty damn impressive. He's an impressive man. And what you love about him was his dedication and hard work and his desire to be an Eagle and his desire to be a great player. It elevated his game. He was kind of a late bloomer. You know, I don't really think when you look back on Brandon, was he a Michigan guy? I think he's a Michigan guy, right? When you look back on Brandon Graham, he kind of had small incremental improvements early on, but then he started to get better and better and better. Okay? Then he started to get better and better and better. And so, to me, it was just hard dedication and hard work that made him what he is right now. He'll go down, he's a green jacket guy for sure. He's not a gold jacket guy, but he's a green jacket guy. By the way, today we got something we're going to do here. All 22 starters. Things I want to see them all do to elevate their game where I think they are right now. How about this? My scouting report on the Philadelphia Eagles starting 22. At 23, we'll put Jalen Carter in there. We're going to do that probably in hour number 2 because we have Warren Moon at the bottom of the hour. Eagles give out black jackets? Okay. But I think he's an Eagle Hall of Famer. Is that fair? All right. So we're going to get there with that. I just, to me, I really like what I'm seeing with Nolan Smith. By the way, also, I'm watching Jalen Carter hit those sleds and move them around. Look, what can you really tell by watching a player in shorts, a jersey, moving around? I'll tell you what I can tell. He is as athletic as all get out. That guy has got power. His hands are quick. His feet are quick. He plays under his pads. You could tell when he gets around that sled, he's low. Man, how about this? I'm going to temper my excitement. But to me, whoa, wow. I got goosebumps for Jalen Carter. I think this kid, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to hang in there for a little bit. This kid looks like the real deal here. Like Adamakin Sue, Detroit kind of athleticism. Big, physical, strong. Dude, quick hands. Watch him getting around the sled. Okay? Like I said, man, remember 70% of the time this kid's going to be in a pass rush. So playing the run, I hope he's just decent at it. Because I think this guy's going to be a nightmare on TFLs, tackles for losses, getting on the second level, hits on the quarterback, shit like that. I mean, my expectations for him, by the way, watching Nolan Smith get around that horn too. Dude, I'm telling you, man, the Eagles, man, they got some. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to think about them probably at the top of hour number 2. That's when we'll do my scouting report of the 2023 Philadelphia Eagles, as they're just like a month out from training camp. Bottom of, what is it, July? Last week of July, they go to training camps around the 27th, somewhere in there. Holy cow. Absolutely impressive. Watching him move. That's what I'm getting. I'm not getting anything else. Will he be physical? Yes. That's the least of my concerns. One thing about Jordan Davis, too. Nobody ever said Jordan Davis is not a physical dude. Okay? I just don't think he's as quick. This guy is cat quick. This guy moves with light feet. You know how sometimes, like Tony Saragusa and Vince Wilfork, those guys had good feet, but you know what? They had heavy feet. This kid moves around like he's a ballet dancer. Like Sapp. Like Aaron Donald kind of stuff. Early Sue. Okay? Cosmo. Seals, do you really think Carter tanked his pro day to drop to the Eagles? No. Well, Tracy Rocker recruited him at Georgia. Did he probably want to play in Philly? Kobe Dean's there. Jordan Davis is there. They interviewed the defensive coordinator. I know. I don't think he tanked because the more higher up, the more money. Okay, so no, I don't think he tanked. But I'll tell you what. If he didn't go to play here inside the top 10, would you really want to go to Houston? Now, D'Amico Ryans, would I want to play for him? Yeah, probably. Do I want to go to the Colts? No, not really. Do I want to go to Carolina? Maybe because I'm close to Georgia. Maybe. But those are all non-winning situations. You see, the one thing that the Eagles had in the top 10 was what? They're the only team that was in the top 10 that was a reigning conference champion. So there was a lot of pluses. Good players, good team, good coaches. So if you didn't go to Seattle, if you didn't go to probably only Seattle, maybe Atlanta because of Georgia. Yeah, probably think that he is very happy being in Philadelphia. And remember what we said yesterday about Howie Roseman. He probably enjoys showing up to work now because of the environment that's there. And you know what it probably does? Guys, I thought about what I told you. Hey, and by the way, CBS versus Big Sills. I'm going to do that here in a second before we get Warren Moon on. Something we said yesterday about environment and how you guys, because I was listening to Roseman talk to Chris Long the other day. I'll never forget going from the Hurricane environment where it was all positive and winning and going to the Buck environment. Man, do you want to actually hear something that's the most pathetic thing you'll ever hear in your life? Guys, this is me just telling you the truth here. And my aunt will tell you the same thing. This is going to sound so weak. Man, by the middle of the season and towards the end of the year, I didn't want to go to work anymore. I needed to man up. I wasn't mature enough to handle the losing and I lost more games in my Buck season, my rookie year, than I did in 4 years in high school and in college combined. I didn't know how to handle losing. It's one thing to win a shitload of games, but when you're losing and someone goes, dude, you're making that kind of money, don't cry to me about it. You're right. You guys are dead right. That was one of the failures. My mind again, not being prepared for the pros. Okay? Not being prepared. Being conditioned to be a pro. My situation was weird too anyway. I told you I was a Hurricane Friday and then I played against the Bears Sunday. It was really weird. But I go from extreme cold to extreme heat overnight. And I wasn't prepared for it. That's a lot of things that do you guys remember Jimmy Jackson? Tone, do you remember Jimmy Jackson from the Fab Five? He's a friend of mine. Okay. And Steve Fisher was the coach and the guys who recruited those dudes. And Jimmy Jackson and I talked about this. I think he said he went to either the Nuggets or the Sacramento Kings. And he goes, Sills, when I got to the Kings and I got to my pro destination, man, I couldn't believe the shitty environment that was in the building. And it really played on my mind. And it was part of the downfall. I was maybe one of the only people on the planet that understood what he was saying. We both didn't condition ourselves to prepare ourselves for being a professional. It's a true thing. Hey, you looking back on that, it's lessons learned. Hey, just having the strength and the quickness and the ability, dude, being a pro, it's not that easy. Paying your own bill. Hey, and I get some of you guys are out there going, are you crying about an opportunity that you blew? Yeah, I guess. Okay. It's not like Maryland was a winning school, though. Well, my first year, we won the ACC championship. I mean, lost only 3 games at Maryland. Then I went to Miami. I lost 1 regular season ball game in 2 years at UM. So I don't know, JM. I lost 4 games in 4 years. I don't know, man. I lost 13 games my first year with the Buccaneers. You tell me. I lost 4 games in college. 4 games. And in my last 3 years, my last 2 years, I lost 1 regular season game. Come on, man. Right? And so being in an environment like that, 13 in a row. 13 was, dude, I used to show up and people go like, and hey, get this, I'm making $35,000 a week. So I know some of you are going like this. You're not really crying, are you? Hey, you're not really sounding like Ben Simmons, Sills, are you? Sills, don't start sounding like Niner guy. Yeah. Sills, who's better, the 01 Hurricanes or the 04 Trojans? Come on, man. The 04 Trojans? What guy went on to be a Hall of Famer, man? Dude, there's Pro Bowlers and guys that went to the Hall of Fame that were on that 01 team. Check out the 2000 Hurricane team and how many were on that team. I think 70 guys got drafted off that 2001 team. Anyway, before we get Warren Moon on here, I wonder what he thinks of Jalen Hurts getting the contract and his journey. Warren had a pretty interesting journey, but his was different. He was told he couldn't play in the NFL because he was black. Yeah, they didn't want black quarterbacks playing in the NFL when he was playing. I mean, imagine this. Hey, dude, this guy he's not accurate. Hey, look at where we've come, though. They were telling Moon he couldn't play quarterback because he's black. Now you're doing this. Well, he's not really accurate. He doesn't. He's not a really good progression reader, and I don't want a guy running that much. And you're like, instead of doing, well, you're black, I can't have you as the face of my franchise. Dude, there's just no winning that. You don't want me what? Yeah. So Doug had to go to Canada and win all those Grey Cups up there, and then he came down. And I think I added it all up. I think Warren Moon, counting his postseason, I think Warren Moon threw for over 70,000 yards in his career between Canada and the NFL. You're right, JM. Warren Moon didn't run a lot. Warren Moon threw the ball a lot. Dude, he had a cannon. And he's been my friend for about, let's see, when I hit him in the face in Minnesota. No, it was in Houston. That's when we started becoming friends because Alonzo Highsmith, who was on that Oiler team, introduced me. I was actually in Houston for 2 weeks after I got released by the Bucks. I was in Houston for 2 weeks with Jerry Glanville. I was practicing, actually. It was really weird, man. It was really a weird situation. Some guy named Doug Smith. You guys remember the big defensive tackle named Doug Smith? He got busted for drugs. And they brought me in, and they were going to keep me there. Dude, I think the guy that played for you guys was on the defensive end. Who's the guy that played end for you guys for a while? Damn, he went to North Carolina. I think he was an Oiler, and then he went and played in Philly at the end of his career. I forget who that was. But I think he was on that team. Dude, Warren Moon's a great football player. A great football player. Seals, you pick and say Amalo or Dickerson. Dickerson's a better player. All right. Let me show you something here. Before we get Warren on. So yesterday, I gave you the best rosters. William Fuller, thank you. Thank you, William. William Fuller, thank you, Chris. Fuller was on that team. That's right, William Fuller. So I gave you the best rosters on the NFL, according to Big Sills yesterday. Remember I said this. Eagles 1, 49ers 2, Bengals 3, Bills 4, Jags 5, Chiefs 6, Dolphins 7, Seahawks 9, Chargers 10. Here's what CBS, I guess CBS watches the show. You're welcome. Because what they came out with was the most, what they use, at least they changed what I did, the most complete teams. Okay. As long as you're changing it, hey, copying somebody is a great form of, it's a great flattery for us. So we appreciate it. People watch the show, and CBS did the same. We did this yesterday. So CBS came out with their list today. And let's see how much it lines up. CBS thinks the Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. So do I. So we got that right. CBS thinks Kansas City has the second best roster. I think the Chiefs have the sixth best roster. This is where CBS wants to get clicks. So you're trying to tell me you believe that the Dallas Cowboys have the third best roster in the NFL? I got the Bengals. Do you actually think the Cowboys have a better roster than the Cincinnati Bengals and are more complete than the Bengals? Do you really think that? That's it. I mean, they got the 49ers 4. I don't have the Cowboys in my top 10. They got the 49ers 4. I got the 49ers 2. They got the Bengals 5. I have the Bengals 3. They have the Bills. These are the most complete rosters. 6. I have the Bills 4. They have the Dolphins 7. I have the Dolphins 7. Remember, I did my list yesterday. CBS has the Ravens as the 8th most complete team. I don't have the Ravens in my top 10. I don't believe they have a good secondary. I think they're limited on pass rushers. Did they really upgrade? Hey, do you really think the Ravens upgraded the wide receiver core with a guy who's been hurt for the last 5 years? They drafted a guy probably more there than Beckham. I don't know what Beckham's going to give them. We're just a little different here. They have the Chargers 9, CBS. I have the Chargers 10. CBS has the Seahawks 10. I have the Seahawks 9. So we're pretty much in line. Here's my bold predictions for the Eagles in 2023. Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown will be starters in addition to a 13-4 record. I think it's more 12-5, but we're in the room. Let me put it to you this way too, Miguel. 13 wins, 12 wins. With that schedule and with the amount of question marks on defense, if the Eagles pull off a 12 or 13 win, you'll be a better team than you were a year ago. And one more thing about Jalen Carter. I'm going to make a bold prediction here, in my opinion. Okay? I believe, and I think I've already said this, and I'll say it again. I hate the word, but I got to tell you, man, I think this kid, Jalen Carter, is going to be an upgrade to Javon Hargrave. The only thing he lacks is just game preparation and knowing to be a pro and all that other stuff. I think he's a better talent. Just watch him move. I think he's a better talent. Man, the way he moves is impressive. Okay? And he moves with conviction, which means he must be picking up what they're telling him, especially in techniques. And get this, what a better guy to have in your ear than a guy that coached you already. He has a coach that coached him already. Okay? Dude, I'm impressed with him. I am. Now, remember what I told you yesterday about this list here? Remember what I told you yesterday? This doesn't necessarily mean these teams are going to go on and win the Super Bowl. And if I were, for me, teams that are truly in the position to win a Super Bowl, Philly, the Bengals, the Bills, the Jags, the Chiefs, probably the Niners. Got to get that QB thing fixed out. I think the Niners have every chance to get to the NFC Championship game. The Cowboys, to me, again, why CBS went here and said that Dallas Cowboys are a complete roster? No tight end. Your right guard. Your center. Who's running the ball? Tony Pollard? Okay. Who? Your defensive tackle? Oh, you think you addressed it with Mozzie Smith? Okay. We'll see. I thought he was a third rounder. You got Skip Bayless comparing him to Reggie White. Your linebackers? Okay, I mean, I actually hearing people think that the Dallas Cowboys have the best defense in the NFL. Now, they got one of the best coordinators, I'll say, in the NFL. But for me, I'm like, I don't know. Okay, because the problem that I have with Dallas's defense is that your star football player, he doesn't show up every week. And if they game plan him, he'll go away. Every Philadelphia Eagle game that I watched him play in, I don't know. I'm not impressed with him. I see him play against the shittier teams. Yeah. This guy puts up empty calorie stats. I'm talking Micah Parsons. Sorry, man, but I think the guy in Washington's a better talent than him. The guy in Washington has to just show up.